Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, spring cleaning is all about washing windows, vacuuming under the bed, but there's another place in your home that needs your attention right now, and it's your roof. If you ignore it, it could cost you. Storms can really wreak havoc on your roof, but here's the problem. It can take years sometimes to see the damage, and by then it might be too late to make an insurance claim.
Today, why your roof needs to be at the top of your priority list, no pun intended. Bo Dugan is with America's Best Remodeling, a company that specializes in storm restoration. Thanks for being here, Bo.
No problem.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that people kind of tend to leave off their spring list sometimes. And I would imagine that you, someone who is very versed in checking out roofs and restoring their roofs, probably gets a little irked at the fact that people forget to do that.
It's one of those things, this is the time of year to start looking.
Yeah.
Now, you say storms can cause extensive damage, sometimes without us even knowing it, but hail in particular is bad for our roof, right?
Hail and wind are probably the two leading causes of damage. Yeah, absolutely. And typically happens in the night, thunderstorms in the night, people are sleeping, wake up next morning.
Yes.
Not much visible damage.
So what are you suggesting? Are you saying that people should do a regular roof check of some sort, hire someone who's professionally trained, or is it something you should do only if you're aware that there's been storm damage, potentially?
I think most of the time people are aware that there was a pretty good storm, power lines down. You see a lot of signs up in neighborhoods that people are getting their roofs replaced. Time to start thinking about calling somebody.
And you brought an example because this is a roofing shingle, and part of it'll be covered up. And you've got a couple spots on here where there's hail damage, and you say that pretty much any time that there's hail larger than 2 inches, there's going to be some damage.
Yeah, 1 3/4 is really the cutoff, but we say 2-inch or golf ball size.
Yeah.
Can you use the piece of chalk that you have to kind of show us where the hail damage is on here?
Absolutely. On a shingle like this, this is how we would identify it to take a photograph.
Okay.
And on a roof, it would be a sea of...
Yeah, because you can kind of see an indentation there as well.
It would
Much darker.
It would be a sea of this on a shingle on a roof.
So it's darker, it's indented, it's like almost smoother, and on the back of it, sometimes you can see damage as well, right?
Yeah. The rocks are missing and displaced. That's the first sign. Hard to see by an average contractor. I'm not saying there aren't a lot of good roofers, but a lot of guys don't understand that. It's the back side that we really get to see that the shingle is cracked or broken, and you can kind of highlight it and see that it punches through the shingle. And that's what allows the water to get through.
And that's where the leaking is going to take place.
Eventually the leaking will occur there, yeah. The shingle wasn't designed to function like that. Once the granules are gone, the life starts to deteriorate pretty rapidly.
I know that storm restoration is about 95% of your business. Talk about the certification or the training that you have when it comes to inspecting a roof.
Well, every one of our guys are HAG certified, which is an organization out of Texas that we send our guys to annually, sometimes semi-annually, depending upon what level of certification they're at. And it's a program that takes about 3 to 4 days, depending upon the level. They spend 4 days, 8 hours a day looking at and identifying what hail damage is, wind damage, stuff like that.
And you're 4th generation.
4th generation.
Yeah.
Of remodeling and construction, so yeah.
Yeah.
We have some pictures that I wanted to take a look at too, because this I think is a good illustration of what happens when there's damage to a home. And sometimes it doesn't just affect the roof; it can also affect your heat, your air conditioning, especially because of the air conditioning units are outside of your home.
Yeah, air conditioners are easily damaged and a big part of the process. You can see that pretty rapidly. That you're looking at there is the top of a water heater. The vent pipe for a water heater.
Oh, okay, and those can be damaged as well.
Yeah, you can. That one's clearly caved in. You can clearly see the damage on it.
And that's one of the things that you look for when you're doing a roof inspection is not just the roof, but some of the other components like that.
That's a telltale, easy. Everyday contractor can see that. This damage is something that takes a professional.
There are other home photos that I wanted to talk about too that kind of illustrate this point. And I know you do free, no contract, no commitment inspections too, right?
Yep, absolutely. I think if somebody's asking for money or a contract or a commitment, if they're asking for a contract and a check, there's probably a problem. A contract's not the issue; it's the check that follows. The work should have begun and be mostly complete before they pay. In any case in construction.
When I always think it's so important, for you, it's how you work as well. That's always important because you hear the stories of people come out, they work on your home, they leave a mess, takes forever to get it done. How do you guys in particularly work when you come out to a job site or someone's home?
Well, I think that's one of the issues with a storm is that when a storm goes through, there's such a volume of work to be done that the everyday contractor can't handle it, and he has no choice but to either turn customers down or to increase the size of his business, which he doesn't have time or means to do. So contractors like us, we have these crews readily available and trained. So when we show up, we know what's going on and we know how to process the work, usually within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you can work that quickly. I know you also, because it gets complicated working with insurance companies, and every step of the way you promise to work with the insurance company. You also, like you mentioned, can generally complete projects in a week or less and clean up the site, not leaving a mess, which I also think is comforting for homeowners, especially if they've experienced storm damage, because replacing a roof can be really messy.
Yeah, the goal is to get their life back to normal. You know, they didn't ask for a hailstorm, they didn't ask for a windstorm. So the goal is how do we get it back to normal as fast as possible.
That's great.
And do it in the right timing and all of that as well. So here's the website that people can contact you. It's americasbestremodeling.net. That's how you can contact Bo and the rest of his crew who are always on site during storms. Thanks so much for being here.
No problem. Appreciate
Nice
it.
to have you. Thank you.